Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob, and today we're gonna be continuing the narration for the main story of Arknights. And apologies if there were no updates for the last like 3 or 4 days, considering well, the narration for the currently live side story guide ahead kind of wrecked me in the last episode. But yeah, I had to take a small break for a couple of days just to get my voice back under control. That last episode, yeah, that did a number on me. But today we will be continuing the main story, covering a couple of couple of stages with the story, as is probably evident by the length of the episode at this point. Also, before we go into the usual of in the last episode, the date for the anime for Arknights has been finally freaking revealed, and it is literally a month from now, on the 28th of October, 2022, just to be specific. But yeah, I am looking forward to it. I was very on the fence for a while to see how the animation is gonna turn out, but considering the third and newest trailer that was recently released, if you want to watch it, it's on the Arknights official English channel and both Japanese channels, of course, and other ones. You can probably very easily find it. It's the third trailer, and considering that I've seen a lot of detail put into even the slightest little tiny emotions, I almost said motions of characters, well, I think it's gonna be nice. I think it's gonna be very nice looking, very nice sounding from what I've seen. Oh god, I heard Ace's voice actor again, and I'm immediately yep, that's gonna be a hard beginning. For people who already know the story and are more connected to Ace, that beginning is gonna be wow, it's gonna be a beginning of the show, alright. But yeah, nice, finally. Can't wait. In other news, considering this week will not be a new side story added to the game or anything else, I will try, including this episode, put out at least one more episode for the main story towards the end of the week. Plus, in between the two of them will be 2 episodes of the file narration to continue that one. And then next week, I don't know at which date it will drop, but next week should be the rerun of A Walk in the Dust. So considering that is already present in the game, I will be able to pre-record that and post it on the day of release, hopefully, if nothing goes in between. But I think that is enough of that said. Oh yeah, and also they're gonna be updating the oh, I need to still do the monthly one. Oh boy. Integrated strategies. Oh god, yep. I still need to go through that. I haven't even touched the monthly squad so far. But yeah, that probably gonna be an episode of that also next week, depending on when A Walk in the Dust comes out. But enough of that. Let's begin with the usual thing of, in the last episode, we officially began with episode 7, the first cutscene and the first stage, and covered that story. And we are literally beginning with a countdown. The first episode, the first part, the first scene being literally just called 32 hours, or rather as a proper clock displayed of 32 and a bunch of zeros. And oh boy, that first cutscene. We get a nice little dainty talk between W and Tallulah. And my god, if someone else was would have been in that room and would have just put a knife into the air, he could have probably cut it. The tension was high. Oh god. From beginning to end of that whole scene, the tension between those two was insanely high. But yeah, they had a talk, which sounded at the beginning like it's gonna be a normal thing between the two, but then Tallulah smells potentially the danger and lashes out at W, who dodges her slash with her arts by deploying one of her trademark explosions and negating the effects for the time being. The conflict continues. W tries to literally, and I'm not too sure if it was supposed to be the entire building or just the floor they were on, but she was about to blow the building, or rather the floor that they were on, sky high, including herself in it. But Tallulah knew what was happening already, slammed her sword into, or rather poked her sword into the ground below her, released her arts all over the place, and literally melted away every single explosive device W has planted along the floor. And yeah, and in that position, W did the only thing she could do. Miss Crazy Pants detonated explosives on herself to get Tallulah, hopefully, and disappears after that. So for now, we do not know if she's still alive or if she's somewhere else. But then we get a interesting little talk between Patriot, who all arrives to Tallulah's side. He gives her a little warning at the end, which could be both interpreted as a warning to himself and to Tallulah herself. And then we get a little fade to black in which we see a conversation that is taking place between Patriot and Frost Nova a while ago, in which Patriot hands Frost Nova a crystal-like device, which is essentially Bendigo magic, if I am remembering right. And it was essentially a link that if it shatters, if it shatters, it means the other person is dead, essentially, which he laments on at the end. Oh boy, that's gonna be. Imagine considering this chapter is about this guy, and we'll have to face him in this chapter. Someone who is already built up as a monstrosity, war veteran and shit, and this person has both lost his own son years ago, which made him go AWOL, out of the military, and on top of which now he has also lost his foster daughter. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Then on stage 1 story, we proceed to basically see a story taking place at the same time at 2 different places. In the first part, we see Doctor getting to Rhode Island, to the basically the chamber where they cremate infected people that have passed away to not spread the oripathy, or rather to not crystallize completely after death and violently explode into originium dust around themselves, in which he meets for the first time Rosmontes, one of Rhode Island's elite operators. They have a little chat. It feels a bit weird, but bear with that one. If you haven't experienced Rosmontes yet through any means, you'll get a bit more explanation to why Rosmontes is the way she is quite very soon. And then in the second part of that scene on stage 1, we see at the same time happening a conversation in Wei and Wu's office between Wei himself, Amiya, and kalt'tsit. They discuss after battle things, let's call it that way. They drop the contract they had with Wei because of the things that have happened, and at the end of it, a very angry Chen runs in, who comes directly from a mass graveyard, let's put it that way. she has a very heated discussion with Wei. They both yell at each other, resulting all the way to the point where Shen even pulls her sword towards the face of Wei, which prompts the Black Raincoats to rush in to Wei's protection, which makes him even angrier because he does not want to see them right now because he's talking to his foster daughter. It becomes even more heated, and in the final moments, Shen smashes a window, declares that she's gonna go and face Tallulah herself, considering they are, well, they are sisters, and yeah. Oh yeah, and also she obviously openly says that she is infected at this point as well, which Wei has been keeping a secret. But yeah, she jumps out of the window, Wei is very pissed, and we are about to continue from that point onward. And also, today's episode is gonna cover the stories for stage 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm mostly doing these 4 stages in total today because 4 and 5 are just a before and after story for each respectively. And also I'm trying to cover a lot of ground considering this chapter is pretty long. There is a lot of individual stages here with a lot of cutscenes, and the ending is going to be particularly long yet again, considering this is about another leader of Reunion. But yeah, let's begin on stage 3, titled Renegade Blade. We pick up pretty much almost where we left off. So let's begin. Uptown Lungmen, 7 p.m. dusk. A secret arrest warrant for Shen, sir? It's gotta be a mistake. There's no way... Hey, get back here. I asked you if this was a mistake or not. Damn it, Shen, what the hell? Who's behind this? I have to find her. I have to hear her side of the story. Oh god, I'm not actually sure what to give this guy, but okay. Yes, I understand. Anything else, Master? No. Go and do what I told you for now. When you're finished, find somewhere to lay low for a while. Got it. Now go. Hurry. It turns out there really is someone who can outplay Bei and Wu. Tallulah. Tallulah, is this really just fate? Oh, young master, if you could see us now from up there, you also would wish to see this, would you? But alas, Lungmen's finally come to this. But Hugh Shi, be careful, Hugh Shi. You mustn't get yourself killed. Lungmen Harbor, 7:20 p.m. Damn it, there's still so many of them out there. I thought the LGD was supposed to have this area under control. Yesterday it was Reunion. Today it's these wild infected. Even we can't hold them off. And we can't even use heavy-duty weapons inside the city. Hello, operators. Is that who we're fighting today? Respontis! Thank goodness we're saved. They're infected who have been twisted by arts, and we can't stop them. That's right. We mostly brought defense equipment, but I never expected that they'd shred through our steel cables and polyfiber nets like paper. We might have to bring in some military-grade weapons. We're at our limits here, so we had no choice but to ask for backup from the land ship. Thankfully, now that you're here, we might be able to turn the tides. The originium structure inside makes their bodies incredibly tough. We use suppressive fire to keep them under control. Also, our scans aren't picking up any signs of brain activity at all. The main point here is they're pretty much already physically dead. They're just empty husks propped up by arts. It's unbelievably cruel. Whoever did this has to pay. But more importantly, at least you are all safe. Let's make a plan. I'll get them to settle down. You're going to fight? Yes. But you look... Doctor, have you never met Rosmontis before? Please, stand aside, Doctor. Then you might want to take a step back. I guarantee you've never seen anything like this. That thing floating in the air there is your equipment? It's mine. Operator, please describe your impression of the target. Hold on, I'll check the manual. Okay, the target's a large group of active, restless individuals. They're moving as a group with no clear objective. Their general trend is clear, but with no set route. That should be good enough, right? Received. I'll handle this. Dr. Kalt'tsit was very clear. Once we finish with this, Rhode Island is to leave Lungmen immediately. Evening, old friend. Hoshiguma, what are you doing here? What about your injuries? I'm an Oni. Those scratches are long gone. Good. Now Hold on, were you waiting for me here? The dune buggy you're pushing in is a new model from Billiton, right? Great for off-road performance, dust-proof, climbs hills with ease, incredible range and fuel efficiency, minimal environmental impact with maximum comfort. That one? Yeah, sorry, I saw that ad on the terminal a million times. Guess it got stuck in the old noggin. It's a damn good buggy though. I'm not even into off-roading and I'd like to get one. What are you trying to say? You look like hell, Chen. Where do you plan on going? How did you know I'd be here? You come here every time you want to sneak out of the city. Remember, I also know every nook and cranny of this place. The LGD issued an arrest warrant. But that's not what you're here for. Of course not. I know exactly what kind of person you are. Pardon. This is my only way out of Lungmen. I stayed dark the whole way. If the whole LGD knew me half as well as you do, then you'll never make it out of Lungmen. Excuse me? What do you mean by that? They're just like me. They don't want you to go. Hoshiguma, are you going to stop me? Why you, of all people, Hoshiguma? Of course I am, Shan. I'm the LGD inspector and, more importantly, your friend. Did you seriously plan to wander off and play the lone hero on a grand adventure? That is precisely why I can't let you leave. You're a Lungmenite, Hoshiguma. This is our last chance. If Mei and Wu has it his way, more people are going to die. And your way is better. They call you Madame Oni. They trust you to take care of Lungmen, of the Lungmen they love so much. Let me go, Hoshiguma. Huh. Do they really love Lungmen, Shen? You... Me. I'm old school. Comics, movies, booze, rainy streets, some guy running by without an umbrella. I like my stuff retro, just like bikes. People say some stuff goes out of style quick. Shen, can we really outrun time itself? I can't. No way. It moves too fast. The chase has crushed so much of what I cared about. This is all I have left. A yellowed splotch, a tear, a dog-eared page. I've got names for them all. And it sucks. I hate how time took all these people from me. They died horrible, miserable deaths, sacrificing themselves to try to find a place in this world. But me? I simply watched them all vanish into dust. Some of them? I smashed their dreams to pieces with these very two hands. They didn't love Lungmen. They simply had nowhere else to go. And in the end, that was my fault. You're not going anywhere, Chen. Fat died. All those people died for Lungmen. You're going to pretend you never saw any of that? Don't act like you know them. They were with me a lot longer than you. I knew them much better than you. It's my duty to protect Lungmen. No matter who stands in my way, it's my duty. That hasn't changed. So you're still Superintendent Chen, and who gave you this duty? I did. Is that just something you wanted to hear yourself say? Look at you. You're gonna save Lungmen all by yourself. One woman against all of Reunion. Your temper tantrums won't get you that far. It's funny. You're the one who always carried out Mr. Wei's orders because you could relate with him. Now I'm the one who relates with him a bit better, and I'm the one carrying out his orders. How the tables have turned. I've seen the gist of Mr. Wei's plan. If someone has to die, Mr. Wei thinks it's out to be him. You're carrying the Shen family's blood. Once all of this blows over, no one's coming after you. You mean he... Mr. Wei rather would he die than you. You give him too much credit. Maybe you don't give him enough, Shen. If he wants to die, he's welcome to it. But what will that get us? What's the point? Will it prevent a war? Will it get Lungmen out of this mess? If he dies, it'll get some of the blame off Lungmen. I think all of the blame will pretty much vanish into thin air, actually. You really think it'll be that easy? Nothing's ever that easy. That's why he wants you running the LGD. You'll get his job and be chief of the LGD sooner or later. After that, you'll become the boss of the entire city. There's been a lot of rot left behind, and you should be the one to clean it out. I get what Mr. Wei wants from you. Though he's been waiting for a long time, I can tell that his beliefs and methods haven't changed from the day I met him. Lungmen still needs you, and she doesn't want you in danger. I'm just so disgusted. Mr. Wei's death may not matter to you, but once he's gone, you can change the city. I have to tell you something, Hoshiguma. It's the reason I don't belong here. Don't mess with me, Shen. No one's more Lungmen than you. I'm an infected. What? Since when? 3 years ago. You've been hiding it from me. I didn't mean to. How come you didn't even tell me? Wei and Wu didn't want anyone to know. We couldn't have an infected in the LGD, so I couldn't be infected. Hoshiguma, there is no place for the infected here, or anywhere else in the world. I've had enough of Wei and Wu controlling us. I'm not going to be his tool anymore. No, I get it. I finally, actually, really get it, Shen. I know exactly why you can't leave Lungmen. What? If you leave and go to that core city, Mr. Wei would have to brand you an enemy. Not just an enemy, but a dangerous infected enemy working against Lungmen. The whole city would know you're infected. They might even think you're working with Reunion. And that'll be the end of it. You'll never be able to come back. I don't care. That's my line. You're infected. I don't care. I don't care. Missy doesn't care. 9 doesn't care. The LGD doesn't care. Not even Mr. Wei cares. He wants you to change this place. He doesn't want you gone. You didn't see how ruthlessly he treated the infected. I did. And 9? She's already gone. She quit the LGD because she was infected too. 9 too? You know, 9 and I might have contracted a rip-off on the same mission. She went undercover for me in Reunion, and then because of Reunion she abandoned Lungmen. Because she saw the truth in the city. But you didn't betray Lungmen. I'm not letting you take the fall for a crime you didn't commit. Hoshiguma, why do you think I'm going to the core city? I've never been good at guessing games. Just get to the point. Do you know who's leading reunion? I forgot her name. Tallulah. Missy didn't tell you? Tell me what? Tallulah is my sister. Oh. Oh. Huh. I get it. Chen, you're not going today. Why? Is my sister and my family not important enough? That's why. That's why I can't let you go. Even if I have to die here, I'm not letting you go. That's not for you to decide, Hoshiguma. Hanya can decide. No matter what stands in my way, whether it's a catastrophe, a shield, or an Oni, I'm not giving in. The blacksmith who cast this shield had his whole family killed by a gang of wandering Onis. His fury is much more toxic than any catastrophe. The blood that stains this shield and the tragedy it represents is much more wicked than any catastrophe. Chen, Mr. Wei isn't a good man. We can kick his ass together. Whatever you want to do, I'll do it with you. You want my Colombian big single 70 VV? Actually, by the way, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I know it's 70%. She's talking about alcohol bottle there. But are you pronouncing it VV or... I don't know. Whatever. I never heard it pronounced, so I have no idea. I usually always heard percentages. It's yours. Chen, now's not the time. Don't go. Don't force me to do this. It's all I ask. Force you? Why are you talking like Wei and Wu? I don't like it. But when Wei did what he did? No. When he betrayed his brother, failed my mother, and put this city to sleep under his cloud of wickedness, that's when I decided to do this. You might think that stuff has anything to do with you, but I don't think so. What do you mean? When he did what he did for you, and what you should be doing, none of it is connected. That's what Mr. Wei was hoping for. He didn't want to play the bad guy. He's not power hungry. He gave you the sword. You don't get it. Understand what? It wasn't just one time. It happened again and again and again. I destroyed my home. I destroyed my family. I covered horn to toe in blood every time I fought to the bitter end, until I was the only one left standing. Because that's what I thought was right, and they were wrong. I found myself asking a lot if I really deserve to live. I don't, but I lived anyway. I just can't live for myself anymore. Putting yourself out because of some concept of right and wrong, that's the dumbest thing a person can do. And I've dealt with the regret my whole life. I think you're the only one who's got a lot of baggage, Miss Chen. Stop talking like that. So why can't you understand me, even a little bit? We've been through so much together all these years. There's still something you can't tell me. I've got my baggage and you've got yours. We both know that. Even so. What is there you still don't understand? I never pulled any of you into this. How can you say I don't understand you? Because I've seen too many people die for nothing. I don't care who you are, I just care where you're going. I'm not letting you go. This is all on the leader of Reunion. You can't change the situation. You just die for nothing too. No one wants to see that. Not the LGD, not Lungmen. Thank you, Hoshiguma. But I'm still going. Really? If we have to fight, you should know I'm not scared of you. You really have to go, huh? You feeling like your heart is hard as iron right now? I told you before you're lost in your own thoughts. You lost sight of everything around you, of everything everyone's done for you. Your stubbornness is only gonna get you hurt. Fine. I guess you'll have to take a beating before you can learn, like a young Hoshiguma, that being a stubborn ass is just a stupid impulse. If you want to fight Chen, then let's do this. Show me everything you've learned in the last 2 years. Stop talking like that. EX-42, long-range Originium Arts Control Device. Operator Rosmontis requesting approval. Approved for use in defensive operations. Removal approved. User Annihilation Specialist, Elite Operator Rosmontis. Activation approved. Okay, I'm going. Please tell Closure for me about the Rhode Island landship startup. Hurry, Doctor, get in the cabin, don't watch. If you get hit by Rosmontis' shrapnel, you're pretty much a goner. Alright, and continuing with the after story. Uptown Lungmen, 7:20 p.m. You're pretty serious about this. Real unexpected. Never would have thought that you would be able to make me bleed. We have never been able to walk away from our past. Hoshiguma, you've always been a part of this city, but not me. I've always been running. I don't think I'll ever be able to stand this place. It turned into another one of these in the end. I can't stop you. Go. Sorry, Hoshiguma. After I'm gone, please go to the slums for me. The people there are panicked and confused. Someone from the LGD has to protect them. If some infected kids give you a toy bear, keep it. An Ursus girl named Misha taught them how to make those bears. She died because we failed her. Okay, I will. I'm sorry. I owe you one. I don't need your apologies. Honestly, you're not good at them. Hoshiguma? I think we're done here. Go. And don't come back. Take care of yourself. Can't stand this place. How many people care about this city as much as you do? Bullshit. Inspector Hoshiguma. Uh-huh. Inspector, you're hurt. Who could have... Oh yes, we just saw Madam Chen. Oh, that? Sorry. Do you guys have a second to talk? Inspector, you're disobeying orders too. I wouldn't put it that way. Get out. Yes, Lord Wei. I told you not to call me that. As you wish. We await your orders. Miss Kalt'tsit and young Amiya, before you speak, could I have a word with him? Yes, go ahead, Miss Fumizuki. All yours. We've been together for years now, Wei and Wu. Why talk about this? Why now? One look in your eyes and I can tell what you're thinking. Fumizuki. Now, I've always been able to tell. I know Lungmen means the world to you. I know all that you've given her. I know about the dreams you have for her. No, Fumizuki. But today, this isn't what you want, is it? Ah, come on, I'm not referring to our current dilemma. What I mean is, this prosperity that you've given everything for. You lost 2 loved ones. Actually, I think you said it was 3. Maybe dozens. Surely you couldn't bear to lose your niece as well. She loathes the Shadow Guard. If I send them to retrieve her, she will fight them to the death. No, Wei Yanru, that's not what I mean. Won't you regret it? If you let them both die in some foreign city? So what if they're infected? Are they not your nieces? If we had children of our own, is this how you would treat them? All that I've done for the sake of our land. I've never intended for Chen and Hoshiguma to do my work for me. But that's how she is. No. Keeping the truth from her only deepens the cut. It only makes her feel like she doesn't belong here. Your expectations of her, they're too distant and too difficult. But can I stop at this point? I have struggled against the man behind me and the city below me for so long, and this is all I have to show for it. Would Lungmen allow me to stop? This is what she wanted, to get to the source of our problems. She wanted to change the city into something completely unlike the city under my rule. All I did was teach her how to get there, what she would have to do, and what she would have to give up. Alright, that's enough rationalizing. You're giving me a headache. I'll go bring her home myself. I won't sit back and watch her die. I will do what you cannot. Nonsense. I won't allow it. I have plans to bring her back, and you, Fumizuki, are not to set foot outside this building. Oh, you'll stop me? Well, I guess I have to say this. Tamare kono yaro. Phew. Doctor, what did Miss Fumizuki say? It's been a long time since I've heard such angry Higashinis. Have you forgotten who I am, Wei and Wu? Even I have my limits, Fumizuki. Have you forgotten who you are? Fumizuki. Doctor, I think Mr. Wei might really care for Miss Fumizuki. The same may also go for Fumizuki, maybe. Now then, on to our friends from Rhode Island. How much will it cost for you to help Lungmen and our Shen? I'll cover it myself. You're really going to hire us like this, Miss Fumizuki? I am. It may be improper to say, but my husband is not exactly in top form today. Or I might say our opponent's plans have gone beyond anything we might have predicted, and included all that he holds dear. They have a complete understanding of both Lungmen and Wei and Wu. Fumizuki, that's enough. Who are you to say what's enough? Doctor, name your price. I can pay. I understand everything you've said here, Miss Fumizuki, and money won't be necessary, but I need you two to hear me out. Doctor? Maybe this isn't the place to say it, but I can speak freely. Lungmen needs some outside assistance. Can I continue, Miss Fumizuki? By all means. I don't let words get to me. Nonsense. Rhode Island is only a pharmaceutical company. But the world is a tough place. It doesn't let up on any of us, especially a pharmaceutical company like ours that tends to make a lot of enemies, be it in business, geopolitics, or otherwise. We wander the cracks between countries because we have no other choice. When all the forces of the world align to put pressure on us, we need our own special methods to handle them. But if our methods are to work, we need the forces acting against us to have a shred of sense left in their thick skulls. So when there comes a day like today, where anything could happen, Rhode Island has to be ready with the right response. Get to the point. I have a proposal. I hope it's a good one. I'm not sure if I should be disclosing this information to you, Mr. Wei. You must know, with Lungmen's strength and your talents, you could annihilate Rhode Island with a snap of your fingers. No matter how advanced our equipment may be, there is nothing we could do against your forces. If we act against you, Rhode Island is as good as dead. Go on, Miss kalt'tsit. Miss Amiya, rest assured I have no energy to direct at Rhode Island anymore. So please, proceed. Very well. When we first met, Mr. Wei, you were very curious about our military capabilities. I can admit now, as I just said, Rhode Island is... Pardon. Rhode Island is no match for Lungmen in this respect. However, no matter how strong a force may be, it can be limited by circumstances it finds itself in. It's largely a difference of degree. Even your men can project power with their hands tied. Even if you step onto the battlefield personally, the enemy still has something to use against you. The truth is, a colleague of mine once saw the Duke of Cachet at a fundraising banquet with his adopted daughter. This wasn't a slave market or some noble bacchanal. It was an event for those who represent the many movers and shakers of our world. Continue. I'm sure you can guess what happened next, Mr. Wei. Many young people proved their value that night, with their ideas and theories that they espoused. But Tallulah did not. Neither my colleagues nor I ever expected that she would become the leader of Reunion. In fact, we should have realized that the Duke of Cachet only shows himself when necessary to do what is necessary. Otherwise, he stays out of sight. Cachet won't tip his hand in exchange for assistance, and neither will Tallulah. I'm sure you know their relationship much better than we do, Mr. Wei. The Duke of Cachet never made her a slave or a hostage. She is his successor. Oh? Your observations confirm my suspicions, Dr. kalt'tsit. Tallulah is Cachet's successor. Correct. Mr. Wei, the Duke of Cachet knows what you have and what you're capable of. Tallulah may as well. You can leave this in our hands now, Mr. Wei. We have what it takes to handle this situation. Like Amiya told you before, the official agreement between Lungmen and Rhode Island is over. But by now the Rhode Island landship has left Lungmen's port. What we do from here on has nothing to do with Lungmen. Is that acceptable, Amiya? Yes. Mr. Wei, we won't concern ourselves with the future of Lungmen or your personal business, but all this is the result of someone conspiring to exploit the infected, and we will fight it with all our might. If you'll permit us to act, and if you can promise you won't act against us in any way, then the battle to come is our battle, Rhode Island's battle. I won't rely on the infected. I don't trust the infected. The only difference between you and Reunion is that you haven't turned against Lungmen. Yet. What was Reunion like before? Even if we don't remember, someone does. They weren't anything like this. You can dress up your schemes in fancy words, just as Reunion can shout from the rooftops that they will be the ones to deliver the infected from their fate. In the end, they still ended up being cannon fodder for Ursus. In short order, Ursus will snuff out the fire that is Reunion. Will you be the next Reunion? Who can say? When will you bare your fangs and turn against us? What's more, I doubt you have the strength to deal with Cachet's successor. That Duke of Cachet, only Lungmen has successfully opposed him over all these years. Mr. Wei, you intend to personally lead your forces to attack the Chernobyl core city, correct? Don't make blind conjectures. What you just told me, Mr. Wei, is revealing. You think you're the only one who can handle the situation. It's true that Lungmen has the raw power to do it, and you've also overcome the machinations of Ursus. And this time you intend to sacrifice yourself to nullify the declaration of war on Ursus. As Miss Fumizuki said, you feel you've betrayed your principles, and you hope to end it all with your death. I've made so many mistakes. My death can't pay for them all. I don't even know who I'd be paying. Nevertheless, Mr. Wei, are you so certain that after your death no one will bear you any ill will? Lungmen is strategically important to Yan. Thanks to my protection, it will continue to prosper. I was referring to Lady Fumizuki. Dr. Kalt'tsit, show some tact. Dr. Kalt'tsit, what are you saying? I mean what I said, Mr. Wei. I'm afraid your wife will suffer because of your actions. Even if you're dead, she's your widow. She'll still know everything you knew. Since someone is forcing you to act against your will, I believe this sort of thing is to be expected. I have a feeling that particular individual won't be so magnanimous. That's enough, Dr. Kalt'tsit. You're way out of line. I can't. You're saying that even if I do this, I still won't be able to protect Fumizuki. And it may not end with Miss Fumizuki. I can go too. Death is the worst that can happen. Fumizuki. Speak, Dr. Kalt'tsit. For the sake of your beloved city and your beloved people, I am begging you, Lord Wei, leave this to the experts. We may be powerless against a standing army, but we know the infected. We know what they want and what they don't. Only the infected can face the infected. So, what do you want, leader of Rhode Island, Dr. Kalt'tsit? You're not a charity. Attacking the core city is tantamount to throwing an egg at a boulder. It will be ruinously expensive and may be utterly futile. You understand our position, Mr. Wei. At this point, it benefits us both to speak plainly. More than your agreement with our battle plan, Mr. Wei, we need your guarantee. Considering you may change your mind in the future, we need your promise for now. Because I believe that Lungmen and your family and Madame Chen are worth that promise. We don't need your money, Miss Fumizuki. Your kindness and attitude toward the infected are enough for us to execute this operation free of charge. Little rabbit. Huh? Just gives a thumbs up. I agree. Until the end of the Lungmen-Chernobyl conflict, we, Lungmen, will not in any way interfere in Rhode Island's affairs. And it looks to me like the good Dr. Kalt'tsit has more yet to say. Speak up. I can endure it for the time being, because I need Rhode Island to save one very specific infected. Then I have another proposal. Name your price. 20 years ago, Edward Artorius, father of Tallulah Artorius, died here in Lungmen. I would like Mr. Wei to lend us his remains. Very interesting surname they went with, right? Anyway, continuing with stage 7-4, Side by Side, Part 1. Also, for people who are here and have watched watch me narrate through Guide Ahead recently, remember how I complained how much voices I had to come up with during that narration, considering how many goddamn characters there were? Yeah, this is about to go a certain way. Rhode Island Bridge, 6 a.m. Attention, our outstanding operators. I have some important information to report to everyone in Rhode Island. This is Amiya. As of last night, Rhode Island has officially left Lungmen. In light of recent developments, the trade agreement between us and Lungmen has been cancelled. we no longer have any reason or standing to remain inside the city. Fortunately, we've already purchased a lot of supplies from Lungmen, which will sustain our operations for a while. Unfortunately, some of our operators will shortly be going deep into Chernobog's core city. An extremely tough battle awaits us there. Many may think that war is a distant concern to us. War, they may say, is a conflict between two countries and has nothing to do with a pharmaceutical company. But war, I think war has never left us. We have always been in war, the long war of injustice against the infected, the war that drives people to hate one another. To develop an effective treatment for ripathy and give the infected a chance to use it, our medics have poured countless hours into their research. Likewise, it has always been our goal to provide the most advanced medical treatment to those who suffer from oropathy, inhibiting and slowing the progression of oropathy. But that is far from enough. Before we can achieve these goals, we must face the ever-growing conflict between the infected and uninfected. The enemies of the infected will not see them treated, and each crime they commit against the infected aggravates the tensions between the groups, all while others exploit and enslave the infected for their own profit. There are those who oppose us and even attack us, solely because we seek a cure for oropathy. We have suffered this in the past. Imagine if we develop a medicine to treat the disease, but never have a chance to administer it to the infected. What then? Our enemy is not oropathy. There is no safety for us standing back from this war anymore. 2 weeks ago, Reunion and Rhode Island engaged in a violent confrontation. Many of our operators sacrificed themselves in Chernobog. A story we have seen unfold far too many times. But if every sacrifice demands vengeance from us, then we will be locked into an endless cycle of revenge. Countless lives will be taken by our enemies and taken by our own hands. Our struggle with Reunion cannot rest upon hatred. If we are able to negotiate with them, we will demand from them an explanation and hold them accountable for their actions. But Reunion is still gripped by their madness. Even today, they have taken control of Chernobog's core city and are driving it into Lungmen. Even stranger, Ursus has not surrendered its territory control of the core city. They retain a territorial claim on Chernobog, even with it under Reunion's control, even when Ursus never took action as this entire incident unfolded. The Empire of Ursus ignored the atrocities committed in Chernobog and made no effort to stop them whatsoever. They abandoned their own citizens. This has led me to conclude that Ursus has conspired to bring about these events. A collision with the core city will spark an international war, a war between Ursus and Yan. By then, it will be too late. No matter who stands behind Reunion, no matter how hard they've pushed, no matter who the real mastermind behind all this is, there will be one truth laid grimly at our feet. The infected caused this war. No matter the outcome of the war, the infected will always be the scapegoat. They will face even more brutal oppression, more miserable lives, and an eternal fiery hatred. If that comes to pass, all Rhode Island has done will come to nothing. There won't be a single country in the world that will allow us to treat the infected or allow them a normal life. Indeed, this is an unavoidable part of our protected war on oropathy. Rhode Island has always been fighting this war, and it's a difficult war to win. But despite that, we will never give up. We will fight the fanatics with reason and enmity with clear strategy. We will press on because no one wants to see a bitter end to our efforts. So we will stop Reunion. We will stop the Chernobog core city from colliding with Lungmen. I hope those of you standing here on the landship will look after Rhode Island. Whether or not we return, Rhode Island will fight on. Right. Situation normal. You make a charming orator. Yeah. Wait, what? Was it maybe too gloomy? Yes, some other operators will think so too. They said at times like these we should be boosting morale. But I thought about it and realized we're not that kind of team. It's not about good or bad morale for us. We need to understand what it is we're doing. The harder things get, the more we need to tell everyone the truth. We can't be making our decisions blind. What could be more dangerous than walking around this world blindfolded? I heard Madame Chen left Lungmen. It's true. I'm thinking Madame Chen will probably steal into the core city alone. Lungmen de-infected her bloodline. Madame Chen is a complicated person, with a lot of contradictions tied up inside her. But even carrying around all that, she still didn't give up. She didn't run away. She carried it all with her into Chernobog. She's not afraid of betrayal, exile, or death. Doctor, Madame Chen is infected. Huh. Yes. Doctor, when we get to the core city, we're also going to do what we can to rescue her. Not only because Madame Chen is our friend, and not entirely because someone hired us to do it. Madame Chen will not face reunion alone. We will stand with her. Everything she worked so hard to protect, and the painful silence she's forced on herself, we will help her because we both want the same thing. I thought you'd be more scared of that hard ass. Doctor, that look on your mask, it's funny. Just a side note, from what I've seen, the sentence you just heard is literally the same response she gives to any of the answers you can give her. Or any of the responses, rather. I've doubted Madame Chen before. I took her for the type who couldn't change. But when she reached out to help the infected, I saw it. I saw the color of her heart. That's a interesting turn of phrase. Oh, it's just how I describe it. I don't really know how to explain what I see, and it wouldn't be right to transmit it to people directly. But to protect the infected in a city, to keep to that ideal is heroic. Madame Chen isn't a cold-blooded person. She's stern and strict, but that's exactly why her sense of justice forces her to fight against the darkness in this world. Even if she's never said so herself. So, we'll go. Sure, I made that promise myself. Doctor, are you talking about... Oh. Miss Frostnova. Right. And Misha. If there's something we can do to prevent a repeat of Misha's tragedy, to bring some comfort to Frostnova and her men, and to help even more people, to stop the birth of a new sorrow in this land, we will do it. I've sent both of you the information. This will be the first time the three of us have taken command together. You're going to work with me? You could always stay here. It's up to you. I can't force you. Dr. Kalt'tsit. I'm listening. I hope you can set aside whatever preconceptions you have of the Doctor. And I hope you will set aside whatever prejudices you may have towards Dr. Kalt'tsit. Doctor, from the things she said before, at least for the time being. Doctor has amnesia. Rhode Island has no reliable treatment to restore the Doctor's memory in just 2 short weeks. So everything that the Doctor is now is the produce of a new understanding and cognition. Dr. Kalt'tsit, I hope you can look at this Doctor in a new light. And Doctor, I don't want you doubting Dr. Kalt'tsit's intentions just because of what she said. She's the person that you can rely on the most. Whether you trust her or not, she is... Please promise me, both of you. What else can I do? Doctor, Water under the bridge isn't an option for us. Morality won't turn us into better people. Dr. Kalt'tsit, I'm not refusing your proposal, Amia. It's just forgiveness as a form of kindness. Of waiving your right to anger will only make us weak beyond measure. I will not waive that right. But for now, I'll shelve my prejudice. Let's deal with the core city first. Once and for all. Well, looking forward to working with you, Kalt'tsit. If you're willing. I didn't think it would be this easy. Honestly, I was even expecting you to weave in some traps and pitfalls among your words. But what's the harm? I look forward to working with you, Doctor. So what's the plan? Oh, yeah. Which part of the plan are you asking about, Doctor? Well, first we'll need a way into the core city. Rhode Island does have its own way of doing things. Take a look at the report. I'll cover every part of the plan. In 4 hours, we'll trigger a small sandstorm in the path of Chernobyl core city. "10 AM, Wilderness. Number 1. Compressor number 1 powered. Number 2. Ammunition stockpile number 2 ready. Number 3. Wind pump number 3, camouflage. Camouflage in place. Is the camouflage going to work? The Chernobyl core city command tower has a wide line of sight. This won't work without camouflage. They didn't even try to hide the fact that the core city was basically designed as a warship. The Empire thrives through violence and conquest. Huh, damn, so this is just how the Empire versus designs things. Designs put ideas into people's heads, and those ideas turn around and influence design. Living in an environment like this will breed a natural hostility towards outsiders sooner or later. It's not fair for the ordinary Ursus civilian to paint them with such a broad brush. I'll grab the backup cables. But how many crimes did Ursus commit against my hometown? They'll never be able to wash the blood off their hands. Now they seek to use the infected to spark their next war to justify even greater cruelty against the infected. Does this not prove their brutality? They put the torches to our fields and choked our wells with ashes. They razed entire villages, leaving only charred corpses behind. They slaughtered the land itself. Only rubble remains. Those are the ordinary Ursus civilians I know. Had they not supported the war, none of these things would have happened. I believe that was not the collective will of the people of Ursus, but rather the manifestation of evil ideas. We are not fighting the people of Ursus, but against evil itself. Firewatch, this may not be Casimir's land we're standing on, but still we will not see those atrocities repeated. It doesn't matter whether the enemy is Ursus or not. Reunion may call themselves Ursus, or they may not. But we're not here to hurt people. We're here to stop people from getting hurt. The Knights never helped us, guerrillas. Our leaders waited years, but in the end, help never came. We fought to the last alone until we were devoured by Ursus. Not many of us are still around to tell the tale. Who can I trust? How am I supposed to believe in the benevolence of Ursus's honest folk? I don't blame the Knights, especially not you, Neural, but I keep thinking back to the time I spent fighting Ursus. I don't trust them, and I don't trust Casimir's. That was a grave mistake on the part of the Casimir's Knights. A mistake that they could not right, and they did not manage to protect Casimir's. But at least we can fight side by side today, Firewatch. I didn't get a chance to help you back then, but this time we fight, not for our homes, but to put an end to you Ursus atrocities. Even if we're only here as support, I'm still prepared to fight for what I believe in, to die for you, to die for someone else. Not all Knights are like you. But I believe this is what a knight should be. There is meaning in dying for someone else. Madam Firewatch, let this battle be my apology to you. Operator Neural, anything you need me to do? Guard the area until the devices are fully operational. 4 hours ago. This is our disguise? After so many major combat actions, infiltration is essentially a required course for operators. Every situation is different, but using the terrain to conceal your position is always a must. Sometimes it's snow, sometimes it's grassy plains, sometimes it's a swamp. We have different techniques every time. Lungmen is here in the desert and barren land, so use the sand to cover your tracks. That's the trick. Maybe we shouldn't rely totally on this one trick. It's just a way to cover our tracks. Rhode Island isn't about unilateral operations. Successful infiltration is the sum of a lot of moving parts. The information that Azazel Cleaning gave us authenticated the Chernobyl blueprints I have. That means we have a solid picture of what the core city's lower levels look like. When the time comes, we'll enter through the drainage system in the foundation. But we'll need bait. We can't hook our prey without bait. Well, same for the hunter. Yes, you're right. But given enough time, even the worst hunter can tell the difference between prey and bait. We'll have to stay out of sight long enough to prevent that. 10 AM. You don't need us to land for this op, do you, instructor? There isn't a good spot on the core city, and Reunion isn't exactly poorly equipped. They've got casters too. Landing would be tricky. Trucky? Okay, that was... I just noticed that it says trucky instead of tricky. No need. Just make it look like we're going to land, but keep circling the city. We didn't bring a tactical team. Not much we can do with just the two of us. Yeah, didn't think of that. How would you not think of that? Just kidding, instructor. Put down the whip. Huh. We've got the wuss who flies, the bad guy, and now this joker. You can keep us for half an hour, can't you? Not a problem. Just keep their attention. The Reunion element in their ruins knows we have aircraft, but we can't be sure about what their people in the core city might know. Rest assured, you're riding the good boy, and he is a lot noisier than the bad guy. It'll be all eyes on us for a solid half hour. Just watch me, instructor. Careful now, don't get us shot down. Just sit back, instructor. I chauffeured Blaze and Ascalon around 100 times, and we never got shut down on any of those low flights. Getting shut down is a one-time thing. 10 AM, core city outskirts. Huh. What's that up in the sky? They're flying. The enemy brought a new weapon. What country is it from? Just shoot it down already. We don't know what it's carrying. We can't let it land. Don't panic. If it drops low enough, we'll light it up. Just don't let it out of your sight. What kind of safety features are on this thing? Are you afraid of heights, instructor? A little. Don't worry. If something goes wrong, we won't have the time to react. The crash will pulverize us. We won't even be able to identify our bodies. The great equalizer. How could I not worry? Amiya, we've managed to distract the enemy. They're convinced we're preparing to land. Begin the operation. Attention, combat operators. A smattering of enemies is approaching our position. Likely a recon team from the core city. Our equipment is active. We won't let them ruin our plans. Madam Firewatch, cover me. Roger. Alright, moving on to stage 7-5. Side by Side Part 2. Only an after-stage story. 6 a.m. We won't have much time after we take out the recon team. You're right. We're on a tight schedule. The operators aren't going to climb into the city from the sand. We do that sometimes. But the core city is on the move. It will be hard to get into the foundation's levels. If the operators stand on the sand and wait for the city to pass over them, both height and speed are going to be an issue. If they can't open the maintenance hatches and waste chutes on the underside, our distraction and our camouflage won't be worth anything. So our 5 teams will take a vehicle and use the cover of the sandstorm to approach the city. Then employ special equipment to climb into the city superstructure. We only send 5 teams. We're in no hurry to get the attention of the local Ursus brass. And we wouldn't want them to send out an attack ship to smash Rhode Island in the wilderness and kill our employees. Even if they did that, you wouldn't see a single report on it in the newspaper. The bankers and insurance executives will quietly cross out your name and shove all the lucre into their own nest eggs. No one will speak of you, no one wants to upset Ursus. Our neutrality gives us some freedom to move in the cracks between forces, and that means we can't be backed by any powers. We survive by working in secret, just like when we send those teams to save you. 5 teams, leave tracks, cover the tracks, objective complete, objective failed. No matter what, Rhode Island only ever deploys 5 teams. Even if they are not enough. Even for a city-state like Lungmen, wiping us out would be a trifle. You saw the LGD. They're as strong as any country's special forces. They certainly have a pharmaceutical company beat. So what will they need us? Wait, did I misread that? So why do they need us, right? Because this is about the infected. Rhode Island has departed Lungmen, and we're bearing on to the next trade port at 15 kilometers per hour. We'll be in the wilderness for a few weeks before we get there. Aside from some nearby Rhode Island communication specialists and some trusted vessels, no one will pick up our signal. We'll plot a course around all the nomadic cities' known paths. Even if Lungmen decides to betray us, they won't be able to find us. But that's not enough, is it? Need to be sharper. Right, we will need something else to tip the scales. The both of you turned pretty gloomy, huh? I know how serious this is, but you don't have to smile like that, do you? Amiya, did I smile? I know you did. Your lips may not have moved, but I could feel it. So here we are. Yay! No, I have to say this, I do not intend to rebuild any sort of relationship with this person. You may be forgetting there's 2 sides to this. Myself, Amiya, and 3 of our elite operators will lead the 5 teams. We have 3 combat teams, 1 recon team, and 1 spec ops team. You may want to meet the leader of one of those teams. Rosmontis? Wait. Oh, Blaze. You're badly wounded. Why are you here? You should go back. Go on. Are you going to sortie this time? Yes. I'll get someone to replace you. How about Misery? He's better at assault ops than you. He'll wave his hand and it'll be all done. Let's have him go. You don't want me to go? Yeah, you shouldn't. You're giving me a weird feeling, Blaze. This isn't like the mission you went on before. Because I might die. Watch it. You can't just, you can't just come out and say it like that. You're too young for such a dangerous mission. It's not right. But Amiya's going too. That's because she's... Amiya... She's just like me. She's infected. She's an operator. And I checked the logs. Ace and Scout are both in Chernobog. They didn't come back. That means they're gone. I want to see. I want to know what happened. I want to see who's running reunion. I want to know who did what. I want to know what happened to Ace and Scout. Rosmontis, you don't have to record that kind of stuff. Please? Shit, what the hell am I saying? No, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Damn, my big mouth. But their deaths, they... Please. I'm the one who's wrong. We have happy memories and painful ones too. You have to remember them both. You're weird, Blaze. Your words are all scattered and broken. I don't want to see you hurting so much. Why do you have to look back at them? You can let go of those memories. You can put them there, leave them there, and don't look back. If I don't look, then what's the point in recording them? If I don't look, then they're forgotten. I won't forget. I definitely won't forget a single death. Right. You're like me. You're a Rhode Island elite operator. I can't go in your place. Really, You're bleeding again. It's fine. I'll take you. Rosmontis, you and Amiya look after yourselves. Right, I will. Do I have to? Meet her? Doctor, Rhode Island's elite operators, for whatever reason, dedicated their talent and energy to the Rhode Island project. The teams they bring with them fully support their work, because our elite operators, to a certain degree, can directly determine how we use a certain tactic. But not all of them are exactly as we imagine them. You've met elite operator Blaze, Doctor. There are a lot of rumors about her. Maybe you haven't heard. The truth is, they're a little exaggerated. But everyone has a different impression of her. But Doctor, I think you're capable of understanding her choices. Judging by your reaction, you may have already met the one we're talking about. Oh? Huh. Then we're okay. Anything else I should know? That's the basic plan. Honestly, it's practical. A plan's a plan, an operation's an operation. But the op is what matters. A plan is just a basic outline of an operation, and a misstep during an operation can shatter a plan. Well, I hope we don't have any bad omen specialists here. Oh, that ain't good. We have a problem. Dust density is still too low. This isn't going to work with that light angle. We're in the open here. If they look down from the bridge, they might spot us before we're fully operational. But we can't cover the machine any more than it already is. If we block the airflow, we won't get enough of a current going to kick up the dust. What do we do? Should we keep moving back? We might not have time. I'll take care of it. Firewatch, keep an eye out and tell me which way to adjust. Lady, what are you doing? Fixing the angle of the light. To mitigate the suffering of the world, I believe even the sun itself will bow to me. Oh, who's that on the dune? Neural? They're not settling up and not falling back. What's she doing? Meditating? Posing? Is she posing here? No, wait, what's that light? Her whole body is glowing. Oh, too bright. Thanks, Captain. Thanks for covering my eyes, but it would be great if you weren't squeezing like you wanted to crush my skull. What is Nerl doing? She's okay. Well, you say that, Captain, but that light is brighter than the sun. What is she up to? Huh? No way. She's pulling in all the light around us. Whoa. Captain, all the light is starting to form together. I know. I'm just saying, could anyone but the Radiant Knight do something like this? Captain, look at the shadows on the sand dunes. Can you even tell what time of the day it is? I'm just trying to brighten the mood here, and once we kick up that sandstorm, we won't be able to see the shadows, right? Shutting up, sorry. Take us up. We've got some weird colored balls clipping us. Don't be scared, instructor. Reunion casters aren't good enough to shoot us down. We're just a distraction. No need to put on an air show for a reunion. Put on a good enough show and reunion might just surrender, huh? Isn't that what they call a show of force? Aerial acrobatics isn't a show of force. Hold on tight, instructor. I need a barf bag. The device is fully functional. Amiya, we are ready to move. Roger. Drivers, maintain a steady speed. Check your maps. Use the sandstorms to cover your approach to the core city until you're in range to deploy boarding gear. Engage. The sand will cover our tracks. Remember your protective gear and don't let sand into our sensitive equipment. But I can see the sun. Why is this sunlight breaking through the sandstorm? The underside of the core city is so clear. It's like arts. This wasn't part of the plan. Is that natural light? Don't worry about it. Roger that. Grappling hooks, prepare to fire. Operators, make sure the cables are securely fixed to the underside of the city. Once all our operators are on board, the vehicle will depart at once. I don't usually say things like this, but I'm pretty sure that light just now is a good omen for us. Definitely. I made it a little too intense and had to aim it at the ground, but let's not tell her that part. Hold on, the core city is speeding up? Our machines are wind-driven, but they can only keep the sensor up with a 1 kilometer range. If they break that range, they'll spot us, for sure. Hurry up, everyone. We're out of time. We have to slow down. If we drive out of the sandstorm, Chernobog's optical detection system will pick us right up and blow the hole up. How many people do you have left? Hurry up and... There aren't any left. Huh? I'll do it myself. It's too dangerous, Doctor. You've never had operator training. We can't send you up there alone. Didn't Dr. kalt'tsit assign you any battlefield support? Maybe she thought I could use the exercise myself. I did. Me. kalt'tsit grabs you by the waist with one arm and pulled you onto the zipline with the other. Seize your own fate next time, Doctor. The sandstorm was ferocious, and the arm holding you was very hard. You couldn't be certain it belonged to kalt'tsit. All squads, take your positions. There is no room for error in the operation to come. "10:30 a.m. Core City Foundation." Yeah, this is definitely a sign of someone breaking in here. Confirmed one infiltrator. We can't be sure if that bloodstain over there is Reunion's or someone else's. It hasn't turned yet. It very well could be Officer Shen's. We have to hurry. Oh, Doctor. I'm glad you made it here safe. You call that safe? Oh, huh? dangerous, huh? Did you get hurt, Doctor? Fine. Let's just go. Just some psychological trauma. Also, interesting statement about kalt'tsit there. That arm might not as well be her own. But yeah. Moving on to stage 7-6. Forgotten Lands. Let's begin with the before part. Chernobog Underground Base. 10:30 a.m. Were you waiting for me here? Yes. It took me a long time to find you. We'll begin the operation after we finish collecting all the environmental information. Before that, it'll benefit you to hear exactly what's going on inside Chernobog's core city. Amia's a bit tied up on the scene, so she won't be able to join this discussion. You've already read the information in the mission briefing, but that kind of information is not good enough for a mind like yours. I'm glad you see me as more than a simple battlefield commander. You might not remember, but I do. I remember you had quite a talent for heating up rations by pouring boiling water directly into your mouth at 4 in the morning. I would like to point out, I would like to ingrain this sentence into anybody's mind who is listening to this and thought this is a joke. The sentence right here. I remember you had quite a talent for heating up rations by pouring boiling water directly into your mouth at 4 in the morning. This is not a joke. He does that. He can do that, which brings up several questions. And if you want to see the confirmation of this, go and watch Shirayuki's operator record, and you'll get your confirmation that that is an actual thing that happens. It's not a joke. Anyway, continuing. I had to say this, but yeah, continuing. If you don't believe me, you can try for yourself. Then there we go. But skip the chatter, we don't have much time. Rhode Island and the LGD work together to take down Reunion and neutralize the forces controlled by Mephisto and Crownslayer. After that, Reunion's deployments in Lungmen fell apart completely. Amia reported to me that you had a difficult fight with a Frost Nova and infected serving Reunion as a leader of a special squad at the bottom of Lungmen. The battle ended in your victory. I wouldn't call that a victory. I understand. According to the data from PRTS, you had the cooperation of our operators when you brought the enemy's body back to Rhode Island for treatment. I don't consider her an enemy. Doctor, distinguish your friends from your foes. No, you might get the wrong idea, but you must hear me out. I am not trying to blame you, Doctor. Amia told me what happened between you and the enemy commander. Only those who were there at the time had the information to decide what to do. I don't have the right to overreach, and criticize your judgment. You tried to understand the motives of that infected. You were willing to bear the consequences for the things she, Frost Nova, did. That is what you did. If you plan to use this method to make sense of the suffering in this world, I have no reason to blame you. I am even willing to vouch for you before the operation of Rhode Island. Before the operators of Rhode Island. Doctor, make your own decisions and I will try not to interfere. After that, I will determine the part of the responsibility that belongs to Rhode Island. Your powers and responsibilities complement one another. Distinguish your enemies from your friends. Those are your words, not mine. If you really want to breathe as one. You're actually siding with me. I never said that. More accurately, Frostnova and her Yeti squad were a guerrilla team of elite infected. Right now, there are still 2 elite forces that Reunion is still able to mobilize. These guerrilla warriors are the first. The second is the Sarkis mercenary W and her team of sellswords. According to my intel, W used some underhanded tactics to seize leadership of the Sarkis mercenaries working with Reunion. We don't have time to go over what should be common historical knowledge, but let me say this frankly. Sarkis mercenaries are unreliable, a problem W faces just as much as Reunion. Sarkis mercenaries are unlike normal agency mercenaries. They are the overflowing military might of Kasdal, spilling out across the land. Trying to control them is an act of folly. It will only anger the forces backing them. You seem to have a pretty deep understanding of the Sarkas. I haven't even gotten to the important part. The point is, the infected guerrillas of the Yeti squad are completely different from the Sarkis mercenaries. There are no similarities between them in terms of their form, organization, behavior, or creed. Before joining Reunion's ranks, they were an independent guerrilla force of infected, and their prestige was even greater among certain groups of infected than that of Reunion. And before they formed this guerrilla force, they used to be a part of the mighty Ursus military. The guerrillas of the northwestern tundra? I'm not sure where you learned that piece of information, Doctor, but color me impressed. Though that piece of information itself is fairly basic, I am relieved that you're able to proactively gather intel on your own. Why does it feel like you're poking fun at me? I only give what you deserve. We've arrived at the foundations of the industrial sector of Chernobog's core city. Next, we'll lead 3 teams through the complex underground passages, take the sewer pipes into the industrial layer, and come up in the heart of the core city. Be aware that any enemies you see patrolling these areas are not the ordinary Reunion thugs you're used to fighting. We will meet rigorously trained soldiers, Reunion's soldiers, trained in the tactics of Ursus's own army by guerrillas. Our recon operators discovered that communication networks have been forcefully cut off with the core city. Rather, it seems that Reunion didn't even try to maintain these channels. This is a severe constraint upon modern-day squads who rely on the most common modes of communication. What this means is Reunion either already has some special way of communicating, or they simply aren't prepared to fight. Based on what we saw in Chernobog a month ago, don't expect that second scenario. However, if communication is cut off, the lower-ranking Reunion members won't receive direct commands. Most of the time, expect them to act independently. I fear they won't know signals they cannot receive, a signal that only countries and city-states can distinguish, one that marks the territory of Ursus. A terrible storm is brewing within the city. Chaos, whether caused accidentally or deliberately, will permeate everywhere like thick smoke. They're a step ahead of me, and the seeds of ruin have already been sown. So what's your conclusion? Conflict is brewing within Reunion. How are you so sure? I've seen the same thing unfold countless of times across this land. Is there something you're not telling me? I've said pretty much everything I need to say. As for the rest, we'll cross those bridges when we get to them. Even if we're still just preparing for war, efficiency still matters. Please, help me notify the members of Team R4, Doctor. Have them take these devices. Hold on. Is there a problem? Don't these belong to Rosmontis? Yes. You seem to know more about Rosmontis than the conversation you had in the Bioprocessing unit indicated. I saw her getting ready to fight. Never expected she'd have the power to use a device like this. Every elite operator has a considerable amount of strength. We expect them to take charge. So, you haven't had the time to understand how Rosmontes fights. But just to get this out of the way, there are some things they should not be shouldering alone. As a field commander, a necessary part of your job is to help relieve the pressure of those operators. In this upcoming battle, you may make some shocking discoveries. Huh? Very few people aren't shocked after watching Rosmontes fight. Make sure you're ready for it. Doctor, you're here. We intercepted an enemy patrol squad steadily handling the situation. Has the fighting started already? Doctor, your position there is kinda risky. I think you'll probably want to move. I just got here. Right there, behind you. Doctor, it's really dangerous to stand next to her. Enemy. What do you mean? Rosmontes. Enemy. Doctor, those are the ones who killed my family. Enemies. Rosmontes, what happened? Doctor, step aside. Get out of the way. I'm not like Amiya. Amiya's arts can go around her friends to strike her enemies. But not mine. I can't. So don't stand between me and my fight. Oh! That girl! The one carrying that box! What's going on? What's wrong with my eyes? I can't see anything! My eyes! My face! It hurts! It hurts! Something's crushing my head! No. It's been a long time since I've crushed anyone to death. Those swords! Those swords! Rosmontes? Reunion. I don't want you in my memories. Any of you. Little kitten on a rampage. Anyway, finishing off today's episode with this part. Bloodied, torn, pierced. This isn't right. Us, enemies, people. Wailing, screaming, groaning. This isn't right. You have a question? Ask. Doctor, is this your first time seeing Rosmontes fight? I know it's hard to watch, but I'll handle it. You go tend to the wounded enemies who can't fight anymore. Also among them are communications personnel relying orders and intelligence. If they're allowed to escape, it puts our whole operation at risk. Roger. How old is she? 14. And you're letting her... People, please, let me through. What happened here? I just finished handling the... Doctor? What? Doctor, did you just call me? Who sent you out to fight? Who sent you here? Doctor. You should not have to suffer through this. Why would they let you do this? This isn't right. I did. What are you talking about? I did. I chose to fight. I want to fight. There are some feelings I can only experience on the battlefield. Protecting my friends and family is the only way I can feel complete. Rhode Island needs me.
The world is calling my name to prevent more people like me from coming into it.
Still though, you can't...
Does death care that I am a child? Would war or disease spare someone because they are a child? When Amiya or I stand on the battlefield, who looks at us and thinks children? We're monsters, aren't we, Doctor?
No.
No, Doctor. No, Doctor. It doesn't matter what I am. I just want to make a difference with my family. Do you know Scout?
What?
Do you know Ace?
Yes.
It's already been a few days since I've watched any of their materials. I've forgotten a lot. But I only forgot. I'm not like you, Doctor, who threw away everything. Rosmontis. No, I didn't mean it that. But you get it, Amiya. I get it, but just don't say it like that. Fine. I've lost bits and pieces of things. Lots of pictures and words. Those feelings I can't say, only Amiya can understand. But they never truly left me. Doctor, I feel like you're complicated. Even more complicated than they say. They say I'm complicated too. Some of them are scared of me. Some of them say I shouldn't be like this. But they don't know why I'm like this. They don't know what I've seen, what I've been through. Why does my heart suddenly ache? Why do I want to cry? Now of all times. Even though I can't remember anything, why are my eyes still sore? Why are my lips dry? Who left a stain in the corridor and why hasn't it been cleaned? Why do I feel worried when I break a vase, but also strangely happy? Why do I feel disgust from looking at flowers, but wonder from looking at bugs? What happened during all the time I can no longer remember? Why do these emotions keep welling up within me? Every operator I feel has their own unique differences. And when I lose them, those feelings also disappear. But why? Why do we even have emotions? Why do my tears keep flowing even when I can't even feel anymore? Didn't I already forget everything? But Rosmontis never wanted me to take her feelings away. These sudden surges of emotions belong to her, no matter what they are. They belong only to Rosmontis. I can't interfere with them. As long as Rosmontis still has hope somewhere inside her, I won't do that. Because it's up to her to choose what to do. She can also choose to forget. To truly forget.
What happened to Rosmontis?
Doctor, Rhode Island has a strict screening process for our operators. Many of them apply for combat roles, and we reject most of those. We look at lots of different metrics to decide if an operator is fit for combat. Combat ability, tactical aptitude, discipline, and physical fitness are all important parameters, but it barely scratches the surface. People often have difficulty trusting one another when they are on an actual mission. Rosmontis is here because she trusts in our orders and objectives, and we trust in her abilities and judgment. Please believe in me, Doctor. No, believe in us. You'll slowly begin to see the colors of her emotions. Doctor, thank you for fighting alongside Blaze.
You don't have to thank me.
Blaze needs more people fighting alongside her, and I want to see her smile. I want to see you too. I want to see the one Ace and Scout always talked about.
Here you are. You found me this time.
She uses heavy machinery to quickly and effectively destroy the enemy, while at the same time exhibiting astonishing self-control and adaptiveness. Rosmontes is one of Rhode Island's greatest annihilation specialists. As such, the way she treats people and the way she speaks may worry you. The way she fights and its contrast with her appearance is indeed very cruel. Blaze running around with her chainsaw may be easier to accept, but the destruction of when Rosmontes takes the field is much harder to stomach. If it will help you sleep, I can make you a promise, if it will help at all. Rosmontes almost never kills. Though her tactics seem singularly aimed for that outcome, she actually focuses on disabling the enemy's combat abilities. Take the last battle, for example. All the enemies were disarmed and not a single one died to Rosmontes' attacks. She also has much more control over her weapons than she once did. Of course, whether or not we can keep the prisoners alive depends entirely on our ability to destroy Reunion's leadership. Only then will we be able to send rescue teams into the core city. But sometimes we must use lethal force in order to accomplish our goals. Some loss of life is inevitable. You still look disturbed. Is this all beyond your ability to accept? You might not be able to accept the truth either. Her terrifying Originium arts and incredible perception are not the only reason why Rosmontes is an elite operator. Rosmontes demonstrates these qualities because she became an elite operator. We made our judgment not on whether to send her to battle, but how disastrous the consequences might be if we didn't let her become a fighter like this.
What kind of consequences?
Worst case scenario, her arts leak out from her body and push her to kill, subconsciously or otherwise. Humans killing each other has become the normal state of things. Even so, most people still hold their weapons and staves themselves. Whether or not someone who has lost her sense of self can still be called a person is another topic I'm not interested in discussing. But humanity grapples with the extent and manifestation of this problem. When you deprive a human being of her sentience, what is left? What is created? When that creation deprives us of our lives, who is at fault? The one who created the weapon, the one who used the weapon, or the one we treat as a weapon?
Another riddle.
As we move on to the next battle, I may not be able to teach you more. I may be able to teach you more. By the way, on the issue of her age, Amiya puts on an air of maturity that may have you fooled, maybe, maybe not. A young creature known as a deadly weapon won't be seen as an ordinary child just because she looks young. Not to mention all that they've been through. Take what you need. It's time to head to the surface.
What about Amiya? Is she a weapon too?
You can ask her yourself. This is something you should hear from her. Kalt'tsit, stop there. Orpharin, I was just leaving. Whatever it is, make it quick. You know the prophecy, don't you? Yes, there's nothing you don't know. Prophecy? Is that not why you allowed Amiya to go? Amiya is the commander of this operation, as well as the one who suggested it. But as young as Amiya is, how can she command... Warfarin, how long has it been since we left Castle? Be precise, or I'm leaving. 2 months? Warfarin, stop joking around. I know what you mean. She's grown up. Yes, Warfarin, time flies. Age progression in cultists and vampires is radically different. It has been 3 years since we left Castle. It may feel like a short time for you, but Amiya has matured a lot. Answer my question. My first question, the prophecy. The last Wendigo will die at the hands of the Lord of Fiends. Correct. I'm familiar with that guerrilla group and their leader. I'm certain it's him. The original phrasing of that prophecy was the son of...
Oh boy, I'm gonna butcher this one.
the son of Hortekrs.
I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but whatever.
Traitor to the Sarkas, and disreputable end of the bloodline will be executed by the Lord of Sarkas. Some prophecy. Whether or not there's any extension of their bloodline, there are still many Wendigos living their lives in Colombia and Ursus. That is, if a few dozen can be called many. And considering the context of the time, you should view it as a threat. Many people did not want to see the Wendigos leave Casdal. It wasn't either of us who said it, and since you still remember it, you must have found it important, no? Are you getting old? Since when do you believe in prophecies and Sarka's witchcraft? Old? Me? I contracted a ripathy. Death is always here with me, waiting for the right time to strike. Warfarin, my life is no doubt much shorter than you think. Hey! Must we be so morbid? I'm not your little girl Closure. I won't let you keep skirting the topic. The issue you raised is quite morbid. Never mind. Hear me, kalt'tsit. The others may not say as much to you, but I will. He is one of the very few left among us. I am no bleeding heart, no goodly busybody, but we are Sarkas. I am a vampire and the old man is a Wendigo, but we are the same. This world is a tough place for Sarkas. I hope he can return to Casdal, if possible, or come with us. I'm not, Warfarin. I'm not Sarkas. So you refuse? No. I'll do what I can. Even I remember him, Warfarin. Your promise is stronger than anything. Don't get your hopes up that this will be easy. But this time you'll be there. As long as Dr. kalt'tsit makes her best effort, I'll accept the outcome. Maybe you haven't heard, but your proposal came too late. Some things have already unfolded, and rather unfortunately. Some time ago, an infected clinic in Chernobyl called Azazel traded information with us. I learned some more information about the Wendigo and Reunion service. What's more, do you know, and you should know this well, anyone who stands against the most brutal blade in Ursus will soon learn whether it tastes of salt or rust. Nobody should knowingly place our operators in danger. Some patients' days are numbered, but that number depends on the doctor treating them. It's all up to us. It's all up to us. And I told you before, you may have forgotten. I won't discipline you for it, but I may do something to put an end to it once and for all. You are not to say I'm frightening, Warfarin. We've been over this. Do not under any circumstances ever at Rhode Island speak of the Lord of Fiends. Ever. Wait. All hands at ease. Rosmontes, am I getting this right? Yes, I felt it too. Doctor, something unexpected's here.
What is it?
I'm not totally sure, but the core city might be slowing down.
All right, and this will do it for today's narration. Oh, so many characters in these couple of scenes. Oh my god. Alright, but yeah, judging by the amount of text and the fact that the very next scene for the next episode is gonna start on a cutscene only stage, I am not fully sure yet, but probably episode 7 is gonna be potentially 5 parts in total, considering how dense and long certain segments are, but we'll see going forward. I'll see how much I can actually cover next time, because there's gonna be a lot of stuff at the end, including another ending cutscene post the boss stage. But yeah, this will be it for today. And yeah, I think the last few sentences can pretty much tell you why I wanted to go all the way up until this stage, considering that some interesting stuff has been said there between kalt'tsit and Warfarin, and yes, Wendigos, vampires, all these races exist in this world, and they are, to an extent, normal people with, well, whatever look you're expecting from a Wendigo and a vampire, I guess. But yeah, also most importantly, I think the ending scene on the unique ending CG for 7-5, which showed the core city in movement, I think is the first time in the story where they actually, instead of just showing like background cityscapes and stuff, they actually show a land ship from on top with its buildings and everything, which is quite interesting to see. And they also give an interesting part, and this is something I actually forgotten because it's such a little detail, the moving speed of these behemoths. So yeah, these freaking things do not obviously move slow, and they take months and months and months and months just to reach another destination, considering they have to keep on dodging and weaving through the terrain because of catastrophes that can happen, right? Or just have to stop and wait until a catastrophe moves out of the way or finishes by itself. But yeah, takes a freaking long time to move it, unless you're probably not caring and you're hitting the freaking pedal to the metal. But I'm saying this because of Lungmen and Chernobog are, when you look at the map that you can find online for, well, a clear map that you can find on, well, the official channel of Arknights, they have actually two, I think at this point there is a second video as well, going up over a couple of more countries compared to the first one, but you can tell the difference. Chernobog and Longmen are literally like next door neighbors, and I mean next door neighbors. So the movement from the core city moving out of Chernobog territory into towards Lungmen seems quite fast, but yes, it's fast because they're very close. They're literally touching territory, if I remember right. But yeah, this will do it for today. Interesting, the squads are back in Chernobog, and from next time onwards, well, we have a Wendigo to deal with. I think it's gonna be time to slowly start to explore the Mr. Patriot over there. That looming shadow in the picture of the episode. But yeah, anyway, like I said, I will try and push out one more episode before the end of the week, if possible. 2 more episodes on the file narration series that I have going on the channel, and hopefully until the end of the week they're gonna give a date for when the A Walk in the Dust side story will be dropped, so that I can plan ahead and start recording quickly, or rather ahead of time, considering that story is already accessible in game. So I can record the story and post it on the actual date it goes live. But yeah, anyway, like I said, this is it for today. We will continue next time. I'll need to gauge out how many stages I can cover in the next episode, but we'll see. Until then, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next episode. Until then, bye bye.